Hello everyone, this is Rohit and I'm back with a video today. The channel is Will for Skill and you would find videos around this skill set, especially soft skills and also life skills. Please do like, subscribe and comment with your opinions. So the name of the topic is Power of Vulnerability. And you must be thinking, how can being vulnerable is powerful? And I will try to break that thought in your mind with some of the pointers. First, we would try to understand with the definition. Vulnerable meaning insecurities or weaknesses, fearfulness, right? All these things come into a definition of being vulnerable. How it can be powerful? It can become powerful if you admit to yourself first that you are vulnerable and you have to work on it. And also if you admit it to the group of people you are comfortable with to start with. And then wherever you go, you should admit your vulnerabilities. Because people try to relate with you better when you admit your vulnerabilities. You must be thinking that if I just do not show my vulnerability, I would be like, a standard guy. If I'm a very successful CEO, I do not have vulnerability, that would be taken more into account. Or a CEO which is having a vulnerability would be taken more into account if that person is showing off that I am vulnerable in this area. I think the later one would be taken more into account because we all are human. Everyone is vulnerable. This is my first point on this, that everyone is vulnerable. Just find any animal, any human, anything in this world which is not vulnerable. Living thing, obviously. Right? And especially everyone is vulnerable for very, very important things, which is love and belonging. Everyone is vulnerable for love and belonging. When you break that ego that you are carrying, which is not allowing you to share your vulnerabilities with others, when you break that silo, you go into a zone of love, joy, happiness, and belonging. Because people able to relate with you, they know how being vulnerable feels like. They may be vulnerable in their own way, but it just becomes together with this word, vulnerable. Right? So please find your vulnerabilities. If you're not aware, find it out. You must be vulnerable with something, and then work on it, and also do not hesitate to share with people. This brings me to my next point, which is takes you off pressure. When you share with everyone that what you are vulnerable with, it just takes you off pressure. I can give you my example itself. I am afraid of height, right? And when I was child, at that time, in my school days, there were my friends who were not that much afraid of height, and we used to jump from a certain height. There was a wall there, and it was a competition for us. And just because I did not want to commit that I am afraid, I jumped and then I hurt myself. And that was the day when I also realized that, if I would have just said that no, I cannot do it, I'm just being fearful here, then they would have laughed at me. That was my thinking that time. But if I would have said that, they may have laughed at me, but I would have done a very, very courageous job if I would have said that. And that's okay to being fearful of something. And if it affects your work, then it needs urgent attention. But if it does not affect your work, that's okay. Let it remain. You can just slowly work on it. But it's okay even if you just, let it remain as is. All right. Then we would move to the third point. If you admit being vulnerable, then you create space in your mind to learn, to adapt, to develop, to take that leap of faith, to take risk, calculated risk. All right? So, create that space. Be vulnerable and create that space. We'll talk about a fourth point. When you share your vulnerability, you enable people to feel that, yeah, this person is even if this person is like at this level, still he is able to share his vulnerability, they would also not feel hesitant because they are role modeling you at that time, and they would also do it. Let's bring up this culture where we understand each other's vulnerabilities and try to um, fill in the gap, right? As we are human, we have emotion, isn't it? Make it more relatable. Make that connection. Okay? Know your worthiness. Make that connection with people. Then, fifth point is, because of your ego, you try to, numb your emotions. But can you numb your emotion, that too selectively? Can you numb disappointment? Can you numb ego? Can you numb grief? Can you numb shame? Can you numb fear selectively? And only cherish the happiness related feelings, right? Only being happy, being courageous, being bold. Can you selectively just park it aside and not look into that and only cherish this? I don't think so you will. We cannot do it. Our mind is wired, not wired like that, right? It's not wired like that. So when you try to selectively push those negative feelings aside, you side by side also, dump your real feelings about being happy, about, an effort that you did somewhere which was courageous. You just do not cherish those real efforts that you have made. So always remember that you cannot selectively numb your emotion. It just goes in an entire package. And when we try to numb these emotions, everything gets numb, and that makes us miserable. That makes us miserable. And that misery does not go that easy. Just we need to self-reflect on first. Alright? Then we'll talk about some of the don'ts related to this aspect. So there are some things in the world which are uncertain. However, we try to make it certain all the time. And we put so much effort into that we just lose our aura about what we can, do best in that situation rather than sticking to that silly point. Alright? So, example, religion. Religion was always kind of a belief in faith, and it was always a mystery, isn't it? But at this moment, we are living in a world, we are just pointing out that your religion is right, his religion is wrong. My religion is right, your religion is wrong. We are living in that world. It has become a quantifiable factor. I have these many history associated with my religion, you have very less, your religion does not matter. No, it is not like that. Then we talk about politics, right? In politics, there are not good conversations happening at all. It is all matter of blaming. And what does blame mean? Do you know what does blame mean? Blame is a way to discharge your pain and discomfort. Simple. It is a way to discharge your pain and discomfort, and that's what political parties are doing. They are not having a conversation for India's benefit, for world's benefit. They are just blaming whenever there is something wrong. Then, what we should also not do is, we should not try to perfect the things. There is nothing as perfect, to be very frank. It's just a bar that is for reference so that we can go close to it. We can try going close to it. You cannot say that if an adapter fits into a plug, it's a perfect fit. There must be some gap. You would never find perfection. You just need to embrace what it is and just try to get close to the best you wanted it to look like or delivered. Should never perfect. When you have a child, you just say, oh my God, he is so perfect, she is so perfect. You have already set an expectation for perfect for you. All right, that's okay. But when this child goes into 5th grade, you want your child to participate in football. When he goes into 7th grade, you want your child to participate in hockey and also get good grades. Be perfect, be perfect. That's a kind of continuous pressure. Now children are wired to struggle. Let them struggle. Let them feel that. Alright? So never try to perfect things. There is nothing as perfection. Just consider it as a reference for you to get close and get the desired output. Alright? Then we talk about pretending. We sometimes pretend that what we do doesn't affect the people around us. We need to get rid of this zone. It does affect. What we only seek is a kind of an apology from you. If you think that you have affected individuals. I can give an example, a rough example, by a company, an oil company, where this ship got damaged and then there was an oil spill in the ocean near the docks. And it may have affected so many people who are working there, may have lives of the aquatic animals as well. What we expect from them? We expect from them to be vulnerable in that situation and admit that, sorry, there was a mistake from our side. We will try to fix it as soon as possible and ensure that this would never happen again to disturb the ecosystem that we have. That would be absorbed well by people, isn't it? Then I am enough. This is a word, right? I am enough. I am enough. Do not think in otherwise, that I am enough. I can just do everything, right? I am enough meaning, just take it in this way, that what I'm having, what my plus and minuses are, I'm good enough. Okay. I would try to learn. That's my goal always. Okay. You can't be there at every place every time. Just remember that when you're here, you are missing something already. You can't be present at multiple places at the same time. Or let it miss. But embrace what you're doing at that moment with your whole heart. I hope I was able to tell you all that vulnerability is something that you should embrace. Embrace your vulnerability. Tell people. It would help you make yourself feel worthy. It would help you make connections with people because they are also vulnerable in some areas. And if you have watched videos from Elon Musk, watched videos from Jeff Bezos and all of them, they have spoken about their vulnerabilities. Not by naming it as such directly that I am vulnerable in this aspect, but they have talked about where they were weak, how they have overcome that weakness or vulnerabilities, what they have tried, and where they are still vulnerable at this moment. Still, they are the best in the world in terms of money, right? They are the richest. So, if you like the content of this video, please do subscribe and support me, because I would be very happy to bring similar content in front of you, which is quite close to your heart, and we tend to miss about all this, isn't it? With that, thank you very much for being with me. Keep the support. Bye bye. Have a nice day.